We're not going to see too many changes in the weather department this week, continuing to deal with the high wildfire threat. But today, we're also going to be dealing with the chance for some severe weather in terms of thunderstorms, especially as we get into this evening. Unfortunately, the heat's just going to keep on chugging on along, so all aboard. All right, good morning. It is Monday, the 7th of August, 2023. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. This is why you don't let me go to museums on the weekend, because then I find little things like the train whistle and have to incorporate them utilizing poorly written puns into my daily weather roundups. All right, let's get into it again. We are going to be dealing with some active weather in terms of stormies, fire weather, and heat this week. Let's start off with fire weather. We've had an eventful weekend in terms of new initial attack activity. Some of those have evolved into significant fires that have required multiple days of attack efforts to fully contain. That's not going to be changing at all this week. Frankly, today and maybe tomorrow, maybe slightly less bad before we see winds increase as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with continued triple-digit temperatures. That just means we're going to be dealing with very high to extreme wildfire danger, which means any fires that do develop have the potential to spread rapidly, become large and uncontrollable without a significant amount of resources. And even then, the fires may not start to lay down until we get past that initial burning period and past sunset. So again, keep that in mind. We are definitely dealing with more dangerous wildfires than we were several weeks ago. Outside of the fire weather conditions, we're going to be dealing with the threat for some severe stormies. Later this afternoon into tonight, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted 2 level 1 risks. That means the potential for an isolated severe storm or 2, not expecting widespread severe storms. First region, all of the Texas Panhandle, roughly West Texas up to Childress, and parts of Northwest Texas. And then we also have this little zone across portions of North Texas and Northeast Texas. North Texas, Northeast Texas, that's going to be conditional on some isolated storms popping up this afternoon or tonight. If they do, we could see localized winds up to 65 miles an hour, maybe some nickel to quarter size hail. We're not talking about the kind of storms we had back in June. Panhandle, West Texas, what we're going to see this evening is a complex of thunderstorms move in from New Mexico. Those will move east, and then probably as a cluster continue moving east towards portions of Northwest Texas and Oklahoma. You can see we may actually see a fairly substantial amount of convective activity overnight into Tuesday morning across Oklahoma, across parts of the Panhandle, West Texas, and Northwest Texas. Now, this is one of the faster solutions. I wouldn't be totally surprised if this ends up slowing down a couple hours. But again, there is the potential some folks in West Texas and Northwest Texas, Southern Texas Panhandle, could pick up between 1/4 and 3/4 of an inch of rain. That may not necessarily be more than a few counties or a few county rows tall, but some folks are probably going to pick up at least some measurable rainfall, which is better than no rainfall. And I guess if we want to be optimistic, you can see this model's also generating quite a bit of cloud cover that may continue into the morning hours on Tuesday. Will that have a significant impact on temperatures? Maybe for some folks, but I honestly wouldn't get too optimistic about it all. In terms of the potential for our upper level high pressure to give us a break, well, unfortunately, the only break we're going to get is the break we're getting today, tomorrow, and maybe Wednesday before that upper level heat dome really just reestablishes and re-intensifies right over the state of Texas for the second half of this work week through the weekend. And honestly, that's probably not going to change all that much through August 15th. So what you get now is probably the best you're going to get for the week. I know I'm the bearer of such pleasant news. Here's today's high temperature forecast. You can see that across the Panhandle, West Texas, and parts of Texoma, temperatures today in the 90s, maybe even a couple upper 80s, say around Perryton, all the way down towards McLean and Shamrock and the Panhandle. Otherwise, low to middle 90s. And then once you're along and south of Highway 380, I mean, it's going to be pretty much 102 to 109. It's going to be hot. Here's tomorrow. Same story, except whatever cool down we had outside of those of you around Texarkana where the humidity is going to be higher and just make it feel just as hot as the rest of the state, we're going to see temperatures pretty much upper 90s to near 110 degrees. Here's Wednesday. It gets worse. Here's Thursday. Now we're starting to see more 108 to 111s on the map, which is just not all that pleasant at all. And then here's Friday. I mean, look, we'll see. Don't be shocked if these look like Thursday's temperature forecast by the time we get into tomorrow's forecast, because we're not going to be cooling down anytime soon. The wildfire threat's only going to continue to increase this week, and it's already pretty bad. So at this point, we're definitely going to need to start keeping an eye out for any sort of weather events that may help to increase wind speeds. It's hot. Surface fuels are very dry, and any sort of even modest increase in wind speeds is really going to cause problems in the wildfire department. Example being what happened back in September 2011, the Bastrop Day, the Northeast Texas complex. All that was because of a landfalling tropical storm out in Louisiana. We got absolutely no rain out of it, but it helped increase winds to 30 to 40 miles an hour, and that was a problem. Now, we're not looking at anything like that anytime soon, but, you know, if we start getting winds even a few miles an hour higher, that's just going to push these fires faster. So that's going to be a problem, and obviously it already has been a problem. Given the 1,100-acre fire near Godley in Johnson County yesterday, it doesn't take all that much wind to create, these crown fires that are able to locally generate their own weather conditions, just bump up the wind speeds a couple miles an hour, and they start running, and then aren't able to be controlled until the initial burning period dies down after sunset, even with a substantial resource augmentation, both using ground and aerial assets. So that's going to be the biggest concern this week, I believe. So with that being said, obviously I'm just a super duper positive person this Monday morning, but I just share what Mama Nature is in the mood to deal with, and I don't make the weather. If I did make the weather, I promise you I probably wouldn't be talking about it on a YouTube channel. So, with that being said, y'all have a great Monday. God bless. As always, you can get your local weather forecast by downloading the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. You can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radars, storm chasing videos, and these weather forecasting videos, plus some new fun stuff coming soon, because you really think we've been doing nothing while the weather's been mostly quiet the last few weeks? There's always something to be doing. All right, well, the next Texas Weather Roundup out bright and early by 7 a.m. on Tuesday. Y'all make it a good Monday. Stay cool. Please do not combust. God bless.